What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer. Producer. That's not word. Producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, and 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team in 2022 and 2021, I've reached out each one of those years to over 100,000 dads and fathers around the world, directly and indirectly. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. So let's do a little homework before we get down to conversation on Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and LaLa. So first things first, if you want to subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, please do. Please subscribe to it on YouTube and hit the notification button. It helps with that thing they call algorithm. You got the rhythm. And then also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I host, please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And then join the Primetime Saturday, not Saturday night, should be the Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and LaLa Discord group. Please email me again at the address that I gave you before, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. So with no further ado, let's bring up Aisha K. Staggers and LaLa. What's going on, ladies? What up, what up, what up, what up?
Hey.
What's going on in your world?
Raining, windy. I don't know if I'm blown away. I'm soaking wet.
Well, we went from Saturday, 82 degrees to 50 on the Sunday. And then snow on Wednesday.
You had snow?
Yeah.
Yes.
This part of Connecticut it was wet snow. It didn't stick, but we had snow for about maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no,
wow.
I didn't have that. I guess I'll take the wind and rain.
Well, yeah, but you know what? This time of year, it always is like this. And then, my daughter's going to be 21 on Friday.
Oh,
and so
and
so I remember when she was born, it was like this wet, crazy weather. And so just, it's getting worse as the climate change is going on.
Yeah.
But it always blows my mind when it comes to climate change. For so many people, so many years, people said it doesn't exist. It's not reality. And I think there are still some people who think that it's not reality.
Right.
But it's weird out there. Like east of where I live and north where I live. Actually, I was speaking with someone this past week. She lives about maybe 2 hours from where I live. They got a foot of snow.
Wow, a foot?
1 foot of snow already. Wow. And it's not even Thanksgiving yet in the US. When is that? This week?
No, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks time.
2 weeks.
All right.
2 weeks from this Thursday. But you know what though? They're predicting less snow for Connecticut, at least this year. Usually we get some high numbers, but they're like, we're gonna get less the full season this year. They're not predicting a whole lot of it, and that's surprising because, man, we can put it down.
Well, I live just north of Buffalo. If you want to talk about putting it down, Buffalo puts it down. Buffalo puts it down big time. Let's see. Let's say hello to a few things. Hello to Jen Myers. Hello, everyone. Good to have you here. And even look at this. A guest is involved when Aisha is on YouTube saying, hi, everybody. And then Regina is in the house. What is going on, Regina? And then also Jen Myers again says, We had some snow in Cleveland also on Wednesday. Keep it there. Keep it there, please and thank you. Keep it there. And I have to, because she's promoting it on her Facebook, I'll put it up here too. Lala is saying, I love Lala's messages. They're so, click on the link, I promise. It's easier than following Waldo. Fun resources and my social media. So that's if you're watching on Lala's Facebook page, which thank you very much for sharing it on your Facebook page. We like that. We like that. That is cool. Actually, I have a trivia thing today. So people are going to go, okay, yeah, well, that says Toronto on it. Big deal. Okay, well, little backstory. There is a gentleman who my dad has known since high school in Jamaica. His name is Denham Jolly. So long story short, Denham Jolly, multimillionaire, but was the first Black owner of a radio station in Canada.
Wow.
And he's done other things, gives away a lot of money, causes, etc. And when he sold it, and this is a long while back, he sold it for $23 million.
Wow.
Oh.
So about a year and a half ago, he had a street dedicated in his name called Denham Jolly Way. And it was so cool to see him there. And then today there was a park adjacent to the street in his name, built in his name, and they did the ribbon cutting ceremony. So I got a piece of the ribbon.
Aww.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm going to use this as inspiration for my broadcasting journey, because Mr. Jolly was the first Black person to own a major radio station in the Canadian marketplace. So I'm going to put this up on my wall and use as an inspiration. He's going, so how's that thing going? You've been at it for a long time ago. Yeah, and I ain't quitting. And I says, he goes, you better not. He's like 88 years old. You better not.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
my
awesome.
My dad was one of the few Black disc jockeys in Connecticut in the 80s. Very few.
Wow.
In Connecticut.
Yeah.
I'm actually next time I go see him. My dad used to record his shows on reel to reel.
Oh,
He still has all those reel to reels.
So does my dad. I had mentioned before, I think on the platform before, my dad still has his reel to reel.
Yeah, my dad has 3 of them. So I'm gonna actually ask him. Yeah, I'm gonna actually ask him next time I go to visit him in South Carolina to hear some of them, because the last time I went to visit, he actually had on reel to reel me and my sisters when I had to be about 6, and then my sisters were probably 4 and 3. And my youngest sister was being a little devil to me. And my middle sister, you're just sore because you don't like what she said. And it was just the funniest thing to listen to us at that age, and then to see how we are with each other now. It was funny, and it was nice to hear. And my dad, I forgot how much recording of us he did as little ones, because the earliest recording he has of me is at 2.5 years old.
Wow.
My mother was pregnant with my sister at the time, but it was a Sunday morning, and they were doing what they used to do, which was reading the newspapers, the Sunday paper, when it used to be real thick and come in, and they were young, 25, 26 at that time.
Yeah,
and
but what a treasure to have that.
Yeah. And you hear me talking to them in the background, and it was just, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's always cool when you see things on film and video of when you were really young, especially if they're in black and white. That's when it's really cool, But we got some other people here. Man, some new people. Miss AQT. I don't know who that is, but thank you for coming in this evening, especially on the YouTube channels. Subscribe and notify. A young lady named Wig Maniac is in the house. Regina goes, it's the fourth
It's a
day of
Prince
November.
spirit.
I need
Need a
it's a
fourth
what?
day of November.
Oh,
I need a
okay.
purple high.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. And Aisha is, she's multi-purposing, saying hi to Wig Maniac and also hi to Regina. Quoting Prince always makes me happy. This is really good. All right. Well, you know what? We got a lot of ground to cover because nothing stays still in the United States of America these days. So let's start with our first conversation. Now, but we haven't really got deep into it, but Trump, I said the word, 45 allies, Mike Johnson, elected Speaker of the House 3 weeks after McCarthy ouster. What y'all think about how it went down?
first of all, it was a disgrace that we even had to go through in the first place. You had one person who failed and had to trick his way in. We all knew that he wasn't going to be in there long because it was just a matter of time before McCarthy was going to do something to tick somebody off. But this gentleman, if you want, I say that in very light terms, has a history of being a Trump supporter. He has also stood against, the last elections, and then he backtracked and changed his mind on January 6th. He's very well known to be, I like to say Trump Christian, because believe it or not, MAGA has made their own way in the world. They have their own little cult, and that's exactly what it is. And he is going to do damage. He is definitely against women's rights, and he does not want us to have anything. Basically, he just wants us barefoot and pregnant. That's how they like us. And he's not going to support anything about children. We know that because they like to take food right out of the kid's mouth. So everything that what we know about him is his character. And he likes to call himself a servant, but a servant of who I do not know other than himself.
Yeah, and they asked him, well, what's your platform? What are the things you're going to stand for? And he holds up the Bible. That's not a legislative platform. That's theology, And I dare him to even say, what in the Bible that he's going to promote. But again, church separation of church and state. These people fail to realize that. But when Trump truths or whatever it's called, it's not the truth, lies, but whenever he posts MAGA Mike Johnson, you know where this dude stands. You know this is what it is. He is MAGA all the way. And the fact they should be embarrassed at the fact that it was Steve Scalise. They blackmailed Steve Scalise. Now, I would have had a problem with him anyway because of the Klan, him saying that he was like David Duke without the baggage. But they blackmailed him using FEC regulations. This is stock trading things that they were going to go after him on if he didn't step away. He had more votes than Jim Jordan. Then Jim Jordan twice could not get the votes. Twice. And then,
meanwhile, nothing will get done because they were at war with one another, still are.
Right. And then they vote this guy. And when I started hearing the people that said that they would never vote for MAGA Mike voting for him, I was like, they got their caucus together, and I need to know why. I need to know what strings were pulled. I need to know what promises were made. I need to know what blackmails were made, because this doesn't sound right. It doesn't smell right. It doesn't feel right. And also, the thing behind it is, it's not right when Mitch McConnell, the Grim Reaper of the Senate, says, yeah, we're not going with that. We're not down with that. I got issues with him. And so and not only that, but the things that he's putting forward, at first he was like, we'll send $14.3 billion to Israel, but You have to cut the IRS by 14.3 billion. Oh, so you want people to not be able to tax the rich people.
Exactly,
That's
but
what you're
that's what
saying.
we've always stood. But here's another thing that just, I mean, I'm at the point now where I only can take clippets a day, and then I need to go protect my peace. Is when they came out to speak to the reporters and they parade him out, yay, we chosen Tom Patty, chosen Tom Patty, and then a reporter asked him, well, what do you have to say about being an election person who said that it was a fraud or whatever, and they all go, boo, shut up.
Especially that little old lady. What is wrong with her?
I don't know. And
you don't have very much time to not to be that evil.
Might be coming to your door next.
Exactly. Mitch McConnell's already seen him twice because he froze. You're next. He's coming to visit you. Don't. She needs to be very careful about what she sees in her dreams, acting the way she's been acting, because she's showing out. Okay, she's been showing out.
Right up front. I mean, just taking it right beside him, right? It was crazy.
Yes, she looked like one of those racists that you see in old black and white films with black children trying to get into schools and they're screaming at them. I bet you she was one of those mothers. I promise you she was. But you know what else bothers me about this whole thing is that in 2.5 weeks, they got to go make a deal with Biden and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell, Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer have been getting along these last couple of weeks.
Which worries me. That worries me. That worries me. That worries me a lot. They making
but they've been kind of in sync. So I think Mitch McConnell's on his last leg where he's just like, I'm gonna just burn it all down. You know what? I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm living my truth. I think that's where he is right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Mike Johnson does not shut down the government and make his people happy at the same time. I don't see it.
Another anarchy. It's going to be another anarchy because they're not going to be able to. They're against each other. They fight each other. They don't like each other. They spit at each other in the hallways. What kind of country do we have where we can't have any kind of bipartisanship at all? But then you can't even get your own party in check. That's a problem.
I'm sorry, Green Eyed Baby just
yeah, I'm going to put that up.
Now, I did not even know.
So Green Eyed Baby is saying, hello, everyone. Has anyone found Mike's adopted black son yet? No pictures of him or his grandkids on his Facebook page. And also, she says, Mike Johnson timeline on his adoption doesn't add up.
Wow,
I didn't even know this.
I'm going to have to start carrying a sign that says free Mike Johnson's black son. Because
actually said
that man is as cultish as Donald Trump.
He actually said that I read about that, and he was like, well, no, I prefer to keep that quiet. I don't want to bring my children into the mix. So too late. If you're a politician or a celebrity, we're going to find out. Somebody's going to be sitting at your house in the bushes. We're going to find out.
Now, is this a child?
Well, Green Eyed Baby, give us some more information in the chat. I have a question for both you. What's the difference between Johnson and the gentleman who tried to get in? What's the guy ahead of him? Jordan. What's the difference?
Nothing. The only thing that's different is that people tend to like Mike Jordan better because he's quote unquote nice.
Yeah,
he's a nice idiot. Right, he's a nice idiot. But Jim Jordan irks people because he's a yapping chihuahua, always at everybody's heels, yapping, screaming.
Sticking his nose where it don't belong, like the cases that's going on with Trump.
Exactly. And but Mike Johnson is he's one of those people who will shake your hand with the right and slap you with the left. That's who he is.
Okay, here we go. Oh, thank you, Green Eyed Baby. We done got some stuff. Oh, here we go. So House Speaker, according to New York Post, House Speaker Mike Johnson's adopted son has had a string of run-ins with law enforcement for crimes ranging from drug possession to theft since leaving the care of his father's house. This is why you ain't hearing nothing. Because remember, he's a Christian. So he can't even control his own kids. Because aren't you supposed to be able to control your kids and they're supposed to be good?
So in other words, he's a failure as a father.
Yes. Just like he tells us, everybody else is, except for him. But when it comes to them, they're not,
So he's going to make policies dictating how parents should parent when he couldn't even get it right himself.
That's right.
Wow.
Okay. I see how that works.
Okay. So we got another message here. Well, first of all, let's say howdy to Fitness IQ Cam, otherwise known as KSEYL, FQRS. She likes to be called that on the side. And Regina has this message: can't keep track of a Congress and its nuttiness lately. Who is quitting? Who has dementia? Who's getting censored? Who's getting arrested? Rome is burning.
Well, the thing about who has dementia is an important one because we have a Congress where the average age is 68?
Yeah.
And if you look, I happen to look at who the longest running members of Congress are. And there are about 15 or so, 12 or 15, who have been there at least 30 years.
And should have been gone.
Some pulling 40.
And I'm going to see if I can do it in upcoming live conversations. I want to put side by side a picture of what your Congress and your House looks like compared to our House of Commons, and you'll see a noticeable age difference.
Do you all have term limits?
No,
yes.
we don't. I don't think we have them in Canada. No, I don't. We don't.
But
we don't. But I will say, when in our Senate, there've been people around forever and ever. But when you look at House of Commons, I'll research that. The average age of a person in the House of Commons in Canada. That would be interesting to find out. Maybe I'll find it today, but our next conversation, I'll make sure I find it. But I just find it incredible how many old people are in that.
People know when to step down. People know when enough is enough. Your people probably also don't get paid the way ours do. Ours get lifetime health care after they're done, but they get paid, close to $200,000. It's $176,000 a year for this. Plus they get expense accounts. Plus they get staff, and they get to hire the staff, and their staff gets salaries. Plus they get, money. They get additional funds for travel and things like that. So it is lucrative to stay in Congress. Not only that, but a lot of them get to make deals with these other companies and corporations who put money behind them. How come you think so many are against making gun control laws? Because the NRA is pumping money.
They're giving them money.
Right, giving them money. You should look at how many of our members of the House, members of the Senate are millionaires. If you want
and some almost have $1 billion.
Right.
Honestly, no joke.
Yeah, I've said this before. If you want to be rich, go to Congress. Go to the Senate. You want job security? Go to Congress.
Yeah. And I know that when we mentioned before, and I think this is a great time to mention it too, is that McConnell actually came out and told the rest of the GOP, because there was going to be some talk of putting corporate sponsorship on the table and how they're supposed to divulge it or whatever, or vote against it. And he told everybody straight out, don't you do it. Basically it was marching orders. Don't you vote for this, because it's against our best interests, meaning them, not us.
Right. And what the problem, this became a big problem during the Obama election, and they allowed for those super PACs, because before we just had the regular PACs, and they had to divulge who donated what, where the money came from. With the super PAC legislation, they did not have to tell where the money was coming from. They had no cap on it, and they didn't have to divulge where the money was coming from. So people were getting a lot of money from nefarious sources, still are. I mean, think about it. You think people like Carrie Lake,
Oh my God.
her
Oh, I'm so
campaign
sorry.
was not being funded by dark money? She's an idiot. Who was going to vote for her?
It's
Who was
still
going
out
to fund
there.
her campaign? She wasn't raising small donors the way Barack Obama did,
Yeah.
$5 and $10 here. No, she was getting $1,000 here, tens of $1,000s here, and this is all because of the super PACs. And remember,
Yep.
the super PACs were put in place when Republicans held the House and the Senate.
Oh, but no, Aisha. Do the Jedi mind trick. They always want you to think that it was always Democrats who does stuff. Everything that is raw and crooked has always been done under their leadership. That's not an exaggeration. That's not me making up stuff. That's the truth and can be tracked down to their sources. They're corrupt from the beginning. And I'm not saying that there's not corruption in the Democratic Party, but don't get me wrong, because it is. But not at this level, I think, that I know of on the GOP.
No, not at all. And when you think about this super PAC issue, guess who was the guy that signed it into law? George W. Because he was the president, right? He was the president right before Barack Obama when this took place. So this is, and I said this before, we have a crisis of conscience in our government. Okay. A crisis of conscience. And when people like Mike Johnson come to the forefront and try to tell you they're about America's conscience and they're about morality and about this, you always need to be suspect of them. You always need to, because they're about to feed you a whole bunch of bull, and they're about to swipe the rug from underneath you while you're standing on it.
You better be ready, because they got it right there, just waiting for you to step on. Period.
And it's gonna be a hard time if they shut down the government right around the holidays.
And then all of a sudden, oh, it's the holidays, so now we're going home. Everybody else suffer. No, but yet we're gonna put in our package that we're gonna get a raise.
Right. And remember, when they leave after Thanksgiving, they don't come back till they have to get sworn in again.
That's right.
Oh wow.
Remember, there are going to be new people getting sworn in.
I still find it fascinating that you looked at a party divided with Jim Jordan, and then all of a sudden this person out of nowhere comes in and it's unanimous.
But that's the reason why. I mean, the other thinking behind it is because he wasn't as known. There's the evil you know, and there's the evil that you don't know. And he was the evil that you don't know. Jim Jordan was the evil that people know. There are tons of videos of him, in these hearings and all over the place. He likes being in front of the camera. Only now are we seeing these videos and interviews of Mike Johnson and the things that he said, because he flew under the radar. And that is why he was able to get across the way that he was. They figured that he wasn't as controversial candidate for this office because no one really knew anything about him in the public sphere.
But then why didn't they
knew about him inside, but they definitely didn't want us to know.
But why didn't they just vote him and put his name up in the first place then?
Because they wanted Jim Jordan. Let's be clear, because Donald Trump wanted Jim Jordan. Because if Jim Jordan was speaker, rather than just doing an impeachment inquiry about Joe Biden, he could do a full impeachment, period.
Yeah.
And that's what Donald Trump wants.
But so what's the future then of the House? Because anything they pass is probably not going to go anywhere with Congress, correct?
Oh, we're stalemate.
There will be, well, it won't go anywhere with the Senate. That's the problem.
Senate.
The Senate has the majority. The Democrats have the majority there, and you've got a Democratic president. So, there is no, they can only veto the president if it gets to his desk, but they stumble on the way there with the Senate. And
Yeah.
right now, Mitch McConnell is not feeling them. Okay, he's not feeling the House. He wants nothing to do with their shenanigans. So Chuck Schumer's not bringing any of their stuff to the floor. Period. It's not going to even hit the Senate floor. They're talking about this new spending bill with the funds to go to Israel and no funds to Ukraine and all this other stuff. Chuck Schumer already said it's not coming to the floor for a vote, so you might as well take it back. It's, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's not going to happen that way. So what are we going to have? We're going to have gridlock. We're going to have a Congress that doesn't do anything over the next 12 months. And guess what? Guess who that helps in November 2024? It helps Joe Biden, and it helps Democrats in those swing districts. And it also will hurt those newly elected Democrats. Newly elected Republicans in those Democratic districts in New York State,
because it could impact them.
They got by the skin of their teeth, and then there are other Republicans in these swing districts that are really afraid.
Okay.
Well, this is a great time to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this is a great time to say. Here's where America sometimes I feel like fumble. Is we are always so very focused on who the president is going to be when it comes to these elections that no one really pays attention to how many seats are up. Let's take, for example, in next year, in the 2024 elections, 435 seats in the House are going to be up. This is rare. And then there's
every 30 years, they're always up, every 2 years.
Right.
Wow.
But still, people don't think of that. Well, now think of that number. If you only go in thinking you're voting for the president and you haven't checked out who your district person is or who's representing you, a lot of time people just go in there and go, oh, Democrat, oh, Republican. Well, you better check yourself because some of these Democrats ain't so hot either. So you really need to take the time to review that. And there's also another app that I discovered this week that I wanted to share because I think it's extremely important. It's so easy to use, and it's called 5Call. Download it. It's free. If you download it, you put in your zip code, it tells you exactly who is your person and how they voted and how to reach them. So you need to be getting involved now. I know we talk about a lot of politics on here, but now is the time for me to start pushing you to make sure you're registered. If you're not in your area, does your area do a mail-in ballot? This is too important for you not to get there and make your voice heard. And I know there's many times you think that what we say don't matter, but if you take that stance, we're really going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and you can go to your Secretary of State at your state. It'll be whatever the two letters of your state is, .gov, and you can find out when the elections are, when the primaries are. You can find out who's running. You can find out. You can check your voter registration, make sure you're still registered. And let's be clear, not just in 2024. This Tuesday, Ohio has a ballot measure up about abortion. Virginia has some seats up that need to be filled in their state house, and their governor is hoping that the Republicans win this time because he wants to flip some things. Primarily, Virginia is the only state only southern state that did not ban abortion the way that the other southern states have. So if those Republicans win the control of that house, he will have that. There is the governor's race in Kentucky. Remember, the Mitch McConnell's pick, the black guy, what
Cameron.
Don't tell that Cameron. He's up.
Kentucky folk. Right. My fam on my page. Please do not let this man get in. Do not let this man get in. Do not let McConnell continue to put in the people that he wants. This man is damaging. He is going to hurt every little ounce of Kentucky that we've got. I need you to get in there and vote.
Yep. And then Mississippi also has a governor's race where it's the guy that looks like Bull Connor at age 13 against somebody else who's a Democrat. And so that can't happen because Mississippi is it's still 1955 in Mississippi. Come on.
Ask me how I know.
Come on.
I'm
So
still fighting
people,
Mississippi right now.
Every state, just about every state has an election this Tuesday. Not just about, every state has an election this Tuesday for something. So get out. And here's the thing that they want you to forget. There's not just midterms every 2 years. There's not just a general every 4 years. Do you know that there's an election every year? Every year. Every November, there's an election for something, whether it be in our state, we call them our aldermen, which would be like your city council, your county council if you have one, your mayor, your judges,
school boards,
school board, dog catcher, all those people are running for office. There's an election every year. Get out. Get registered. If you're not registered, make sure your registration's up to date, and vote and vote and vote. Because the thing is that we cannot sit here and say, gosh, nothing ever goes right. Yeah, nothing ever goes right if we don't pull in our collective power and use it. Because this stuff, look at this. In 2020, we stopped a tyrant. We stopped a tyrant with our vote. Okay? We can do it again. To see what happened when people didn't turn out in 2022.
Exactly.
We handed over the house.
And ever since we've been stuck ever since. Like, it really matters, guys, even if you just don't think it. And you know what? Don't forget to get out and take your elderly. If they need to go and vote, take them with you. Take your kids, teach them the importance of doing this. I never forget, my mother took me to every election for me and took me in with her to show me how important it was. And we need to do the same with our children.
And remember, there are specific demographics that they look forward to staying at home. They are people of color. They are young people. They are women. The people that they depend on mostly are elderly white folks.
That's right.
All right. So Regina's saying after election day, what will the Dems take the House back? What y'all predict?
I actually think that they will, because of the mess that Republicans are making. It's been a clown show. Remember, they've already had control for a year and have not passed anything. They couldn't even get a speaker on the first try, the first time. And then that speaker couldn't get anything passed. And then it took them 4 weeks before they got another speaker who's going to shut down the government. So put it this way, the political ads are writing themselves. All they have to do is just show video. That's it. Just video back to back to back to back. And I used to run campaigns. And honestly, I would tell any Democrat, you know what? Just run video, loop-de-loop-de-loop of like Lauren Boebert huffing smoke
and puffing
in the thing, and feeling up her boyfriend in the studio or the audience,
and throwing away the rifle pin or the honoring thing for
and showing Marjorie Taylor Greene giving away an AR-15 a few days after the shooting in Maine, and just say, my name is at the end, my name is so and so, and I approve this message. That's all you have to do.
That's it. I hope so. I'm with Aisha on that. That's the way I feel. But to me, it seems so many shocking things have happened that I wasn't expecting, that I'm not sure. I don't really have faith in our government at all right now. And that's what scares me.
And, the other thing that we have to be very keen about is it is very clear that the Democrats have a messaging problem.
Yeah,
serious messaging problem. So that leaves the onus on us, the people on the ground. We have to fix their messaging problem. We have to tell people what has been done. Remember, all these things that Joe Biden does, even if you just go to your at Thanksgiving, you tell your relatives, hey, how do you like not having to pay your elderly senior citizen relatives? How do you like not having to pay more than $35 for your insulin?
Right.
Joe Biden did that.
That's right.
Ask people if they like all the infrastructure. I was complaining yesterday because our highway, one lane on the highway on the opposite side of where I was down to one lane for 3 exits. But Joe Biden did that. Okay. Because it does need to be repaired. People are working.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be nice. Okay. I won't have to worry about my wrecked tires for 3 exits. So
that's right.
Joe Biden did
and
that.
let's face it, the job situation is still looking good. People like to say that it's not, but it isn't. And because of what the Reserve and all those people came out this week talking about, now we're starting to see interest rates go back down. Okay, but you're not going to let people give him credit for that.
Okay.
No. And you know what? And remember, also too, don't forget you can reach back to the Obama administration and also pull out those things and say, you know what? He did that too. Because he was there. He was out there speaking the message. So, this we have to be the surrogates because the politicians, the Democrat politicians aren't getting it right. They're too busy trying to showboat. So we have to tell people the practical stuff.
All right. So, what we'll talk about next, since we're sticking on the House and all that, let's move this to this conversation topic next. Lala went ballistic on this during Discord this week.
What got me so riled up is we know that this man is corrupt. He is so arrogant about what he's doing. Of course, he's going to say, I'm not guilty. But we've already seen enough stuff that shows his guilt. The fact that his party supported him doesn't surprise me. What made me angry is there were 31 Democrats who supported him staying in. Why? And if you guys were in our Discord, you would know who those 31 were. So I need you to figure out why. If there's somebody from
those
your state,
those are the ones that are probably Democrats that won in red districts. But I don't understand.
I can't.
In the hallway?
I don't get this. I want to understand, and I can't understand why they're allowing such corruption. It's like he's not even a good corrupt GOP person. Like, we got your both bobbleheads and we've got your greens and we call it 3 toes or whatever. But Santos is just slimy. Everything about him is slimy. He's dressed up slime. And you're allowing him to stay there. Now, I did find some facts out that really was very interesting to me because Santos has tried to put up 11 bills. No one has ever co-sponsored his bill. However, he has co-sponsored 83 of other people's bills. So why would you leave him in there when you're not even supporting his bills? And he's actually said that he is planning to run again and he will not resign.
Why was he yelling in the hallway? That's what I want to know. I was like, it's like, dude, you realize there are cameras on you. This is embarrassing. Yeah. You are an embarrassment to yourself, to your family, whatever your family name is, because we still don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But I need to know what those 11 bills were that he put forth because I promise you they were nothing.
I bet you they weren't. But I was very interested to find that out. And now I'm really curious. So hopefully I'll be able to figure that out too this week because I found that out right before we went live. But that was very telling to me. And that even angered me more. I don't care if you're in a red district. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. If you have done what this man has done, you don't deserve to be representing our country.
Yeah.
This is one where I'm not red or blue, yellow, green, and purple. I need you to be better than what you are. I don't need slime and
and this is the thing that Donald Trump ushered into this country is the fear in our politicians to stand by their convictions. This fear that if you don't do or hold the line, you will be primaried, you will lose your seat. Well, guess what? You could lose your seat anyway.
Yeah.
Period. That's politics. That's a campaign. You either win or you lose, and everybody can win or lose with equal footing, is how it should be. But these people are so afraid. And let's be clear, DeSantos is a grifter.
Yeah.
He's a great grifter. He is a
Yeah.
Latino LGBTQ man who, I promise you, deep
Who
down,
self-hates.
is not a Republican. He's a
No.
Republican because that's how he could win.
And that's how he could get what he wants, more money.
Yeah.
But that's all it is to it. That's all he is even up there for. But so was Boebert. I mean, look at how she got in. Look at her career before she got up there. No one has any shame anymore. Guys, even freaking Nixon was like, I'm stepping down. Now, nowadays, they just flaunt it and fly it high. You know, no, they're okay with the corruptness that they have. I don't see how they sleep at night. I really don't.
They don't, because here's when the leader of your party is going to be indicted by some things and knows there are investigations underway, and says, well, I guess I'm just going to run for president so I don't have to face the music. Then
That's
you
right.
feel invincible. And here's the thing, that is the epitome of privilege in this country, right? The fact that you think that, if I just say this, then I'm untouchable. No one is untouchable. And he's about to find that out.
Yes, he is.
Well, we're getting to that. We're getting to that. Regina says, exactly, Aisha, 45 ushered in the catalog of incompetence and lies era in U.S. politics. You know what? I somewhat agree with that, but it's always been there. But 45 is taking it to a whole new level. And as I like to say, new levels, new devils.
Let's be clear. George W. Bush was incompetent. The difference is that he had evil but competent people around him.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was incompetent and ignorant and put people around him who were not competent but yes men, because he needed to be out there in front. He didn't, because remember, everybody, all the people around him, all the Republicans were like, okay, if he gets in, we'll be able to pull the strings because he's an idiot. But they didn't realize he was also a strong man. And he wasn't going to listen to anybody. He wasn't going to stand down. And then the moment that he started insulting people on social media, see, this is, I've been taking a break from social media. Lala's been taking a break from social media. But this is the one thing I don't understand. How anyone could say something, could call you a name like pencil neck on social media, and all of a sudden it ruins your political career. That to me just earns a retaliation post where somebody could call him the Great Pumpkin.
Right.
I mean,
no,
there are an infinite number of things that you can retort Donald Trump with. Look, the man thinks he's fine. He's not. There are tons of things. His hair, his skin, the fact that he's 490 pounds walking out here talking like he's 215, his mugshot, the fact that he always is frowning, the fact that he can't speak in complete sentences. There are a number of things that you could say back. If you need some, text me, email me, I will give you some. But you shouldn't be afraid because he calls you desanctimonious. What is that? I'm like, that's an insult because of what?
We're going to be talking about 45 in a little bit, so can some of that, all right? Let's sit back. And I was going to say, and another reason to join our Discord group, Lala listed every Democratic representative that voted to keep Santos in.
Sure did. Need to go down that list.
They need to be called out. And even if they're not your representative, you can go to their page, you can click the little email box and tell them how dissatisfied you are. They get your tax dollars as part of their payment. They are supposed to represent. They represent the people in their state, but they're also supposed to represent the American people at large. And you can let them know how unhappy you are.
Yeah,
I do it all the time. I even email my governor. So
there you go. And so Fitness IQ is going LOL on Aisha's rant from a few moments ago about giving it out via email to who to contact, etc. I just find it really interesting how like he's like all these people voting for him. I'm going, wow.
I'm sorry. If all the other stuff was not enough, the fact that he was holding a baby, I'm not even sure it was a real baby because it looked like a doll to me, right? Or one of those real life looking baby dolls. But he's like, they attacked me while I'm holding a baby. And all the cameras are around him. He's storming off and screaming at the high hill like he was Lindsey Graham who just lost his pearls and caught the vapors. And I'm just like, come on. You voted for that? You voted for that?
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm so over it. He needs to go. But then, of course, Colorado is really trying to make sure that he does.
All right. Let's move on to our next conversation piece. So Senate Republicans turned off Tommy Tubbeville after Army General suffers a health crisis from doing 2 jobs as a result of Tubbeville refusing to let confirmations to take place. Aisha?
What took you so long? Because that man should not have had to nearly die for you to say that Tubbeville was wrong. You stood in line, side by side, lockstep. You were quiet. You said nothing. And Chuck Schumer, I also blame you because at some point you should have just been like, you know what? Fine. You want to do this vote by vote? We're doing it vote by vote. Nobody goes home.
That's right.
We're here 24 hours voting all these people in. 24 hours. They said it's going to take 24 hours, 30 days to get all 300 done. We're going to do it. We are going to do it. No bathroom breaks, no meal breaks, no phone calls home, no email, no internet, nothing. We're voting on this. That would have been enough to have his party put pressure on him to stand down. But Chuck Schumer, I honestly think he needs to step back. They need a new speaker on behalf of the Democrats. They need somebody who's going to be like, yeah, we're not doing this.
I agree.
We're not doing this. You don't have the majority, sir.
That's right.
We're running things here. Okay. This is our chamber. And you either step aside or get run over. And
well, this is also coming from someone who's never served a day in his life. How dare you?
Yeah, and
how dare you serve one day?
Yes, and I'm surprised that it took for an Army general to suffer a health crisis for the members of the Senate that were in the military. I'm looking at you, Lindsey Graham, former JAG lawyer. I'm looking at you, Joni Ernst, member of the military. The only one who actually said anything beforehand was Mitt Romney, and that's because he's leaving.
Yeah, he's leaving, and now he's talking like he's singing like a blue jay.
He's leaving, and now he's getting buck wild.
He's saying all sorts of things.
He must have slipped some Kahlua in that warm milk that he drinks at night because he is talking his stuff.
He sure is. But where
that Mormon is drinking.
Still have no respect.
That is a drinking Mormon right there.
Talk that stuff while you was in the seat. Never mind that you're leaving now. I needed you to do that then.
Because they drove him to drink. He's a Mormon. They don't drink. They drove him to drink. And now drunk Mitt is showing up. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not your 2012 Mittens that I used to call him, right? This is drunk Mitt. And I kind of like drunk Mitt.
But he's singing like a songbird. He's singing like a songbird, and he's telling the truth. You know, I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry. He must be dipping his Twinkies in rum because he likes Twinkies. He must be dipping his Twinkies in rum because something has gotten into
Yep.
Because he's calling his party out left and right.
But Tubbeville now, not only him, he's the main person hollering about, Biden is too old to run. And, he was like, oh my God, every time he gets off the plane, I'm scared he's going to fall. And what did he do? Turn around, did the same thing.
I know.
Came off the plane and
that was so funny. Well, you know why he fell? All that oil slicking off his face dripped down and ripped.
Oh, come on.
You know what? No, I told my daughter this yesterday, watching the news yesterday morning. I said this to my daughter. I'm like, oh my God, he's over here with skin issues that he needs to be taken care of. And he's trying to block people from being, he needs to go get some Proactive and work with that and let people do their job.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, I mean, look at another Yahoo. Why do we have so many Yahoos? I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, I posted on my Facebook page, and I'm going to have to send it to you because you're going to have to put it up one day, I have a picture of our government filled with clowns. They're all decked out in clown wear because that's exactly how I feel my government is right now. That no one is there serving us. Yes, we have our wonderful Jasmines and we do have other people who are standing up as well, but we need more of them. We need more of them. And this is another reason that we need to give more young breath into our government than what we have now. These people are old, crotchety, tired, and rich. Okay? We need people who are hungry about our country.
Well, with Tubbeville, it's like, I got to go back and look at his coaching record. Because, dude, you're doing the opposite of winning.
Yeah.
And I wonder, what kind of coach? You must have not been a good coach if you ended up in Congress.
And that's all his experience is, a coach.
Oh, my. Okay. Okay. So Jen just put up, she goes, here we go. LaLa, I just saw the picture on another Facebook profile. Clowns.
Perfect. It's perfect in the Jen. It just speaks for all of it.
And Fitness IQ Cam is just crying of laughter. Loves the take of the Mitch McConnell Twinkies into
Mitt Romney.
Mm-hmm. Mitt Romney, sorry. Mitt Romney. And then Regina's going, a doll. A doll.
Because the way he was swinging that baby was just like, you don't do that with a newborn. Anybody who's held a real baby knows, first of all, they got a little weight to them in that butt area. And second of all, you can't just swing in one arm.
Nope. Pull a little baby's neck to be done snap. You can't do that.
And second, look, and third, what mother let him hold her newborn?
One of those who has Trump stamped on her stomach. That's all you see.
Or tattooed on her breast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all, just so you know, if you've got Trump tattooed on your breast, they're gonna look a lot like those Biggie tattoos that some people got in the 90s in about 10 years hanging down here.
Oh, and I think Ai's just getting warmed up because our next conversation topic, we talked about 45, or they talked about 45 earlier. Now let's talk about 45. His family is now having to testify.
Okay.
Yes, and thank you for saying adult children, because
thank you. I'm so mad when everybody's like, he's like, leave my kids alone. I'm sorry. Your oldest is first of all your kids that are testifying are middle age, but your oldest, he's about to jump the 50 line with me. Okay?
Yeah.
So kids, my mother doesn't even refer to the three of us as kids. We're her daughters. Okay. Right. They're not coming and they're not coming after innocent. Nobody's going after Barron. And pretty soon you probably can't, because Barron will be an adult. Or no, you take that back. Barron is an adult at this point. Barron is
18 already?
Yes, he is over 18, I believe.
I don't think his mom won't let that happen.
No. But here's the thing. Those three had their hands all up in and through his business and his campaigns. They are legitimate targets. Okay. Now, the two dumb Trumps, they already testified. That's Don Jr. and Eric.
Yep. And perjured themselves.
Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
They already testified.
Oh, that's a good one, Aisha. That is a perfect analogy.
That is who they remind me of.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And Donald Jr. pretty much tried to toe the line because he's like, I can't say anything stupid or my father will hate me and disown me and take me out the will.
Yeah.
I can't say anything stupid or my father would disown me and take me out the will. The other one, I don't think that the lawyers explained to him that they already lost the case, that the judge already decided that they committed fraud, but they're trying to decide how much they owe because he gets out after his testimony the other day and it's like, I'm convinced that we will win this case. And no, you can't win something you already lost. Now, Trump testifies on Monday. That's gonna be,
oh boy,
that's gonna be nothing but,
y'all better be in the Discord channel. Y'all better be in the
Same answer. But Ivana, I love you, Daddy, but I have more money than you. One, and two,
she does.
I'm not. Yes, the $2 billion that she got from the Saudis. Yes, that Jared got from them.
And then she tried to get out of this by saying it was a hardship because her kids are in school. Now you know there was
she has a nanny. She has a nanny.
She don't take care of them kids.
She has a nanny. Okay, but she's gonna be like, she's gonna distance herself away from any of it. But the interesting thing about this fraud trial is that it gives evidence to Jack Smith and Fonnie Willis, because Donald Trump on January 15th, 2021, 6 days before he left office, had the ownership of his companies reverted to him.
Sure did.
Which means he knew he lost.
He knew it. And
so Jack Smith and Fonnie Williams can use that
to his son.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it since freaking New York, y'all.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, that's a violation because he did it before he left office. Remember, he was not allowed to do that while in office. That's why he had to turn it over in the first place.
That's right.
So, he better hope that that none of these things end up with a charge over that.
At this point, you might as well just
thank you for saying his adult children. I'm so mad. Leave my children alone. You ain't called them your children ever. Hell, you got their mother buried on your golf course unkept.
Yeah.
Tells you how much you care about your children.
But I just absolutely love that now every media platform, every time they say Ivanka, they proceed it with who has distanced herself from her father. Like she's so innocent. No, winch, you just as guilty as everybody else. You got your dirty money. So now you want to all of a sudden be away from your dad? No, Princess is not going to be protected.
Oh, because she learned from the best, right? She looks out for number one. She only looks out for herself. She learned from her dad. She's like, I love Daddy. I love you. But
just update on comments here. Regina says Barron won't be 18 until March of 2024. Fitness like
a bird about how awful his father was.
And then Fitness IQ says, I'll be there in the Discord chat. Well, you should be there right now because LaLa posted the picture of the clowns that she was talking about during the conversation. And Regina says also that The $2 billion for selling documents to the Saudis. Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy. They got $2
You know what?
billion dollars.
Mm-mm.
And
Look,
still, and no telling what they're not reporting. Come on now.
Look, Barron's gonna come out with his own memoir soon called Spare 2. Remember how Harry had his called Spare?
Yes. Yes. Ooh, this whole thing. I mean, I feel like we're talking about a TV drama, some kind of movie, some kind of mystery. This is our government we're talking about.
He turned this country into a reality show.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's where 45 comes from, though.
Yeah,
He
this
knows
is right.
that.
This is his biggest reality show. And we are on what, season 7 of this?
Yeah, I'm over it. This needs to be canceled.
I hope that next year will be the series finale.
Yeah, me too. I'm over it. I really would.
Because the ratings are going down.
Yeah, but you notice that too. Like in all of his speeches and stuff, there's been less and less people. He is rambling at every place that he speaks. He doesn't even know where he's at. He's had to be corrected several times. He's just trying to keep whatever little money that is trickling in. Everybody giving their life savings who are Trump culters get all their pennies that he can get because he knows that this is the end.
Oh yeah, he knows that he's and what they don't realize is they're paying his bill to the state of New York because he's not going to spend any of his own money to do that. Because if he did, let's be clear, Donald Trump is not a billionaire. He's not even. He doesn't even have $500 million in hard cash. Period. Donald Trump is probably worth only the $250 million that they want to take, and so he's gonna be very sure that they're not gonna take his money, but yeah, take it from the people who live in the Appalachian Mountains and the Mississippi Delta, who are living in trailer parks, working at a Walmart, barely have money to feed their kids, putting Mountain Dew in baby bottles because they can't afford formula, but are giving Donald Trump their last $5.
And that's what they're doing.
While he sits on a gold toilet. Right. While he sits on a gold toilet reading documents that he has stuffed in the shower.
So so Lala's going on Discord. I can tell. Lala's discording. I can tell.
See how important it is for you to be in there?
Yeah, Lala's discording. So what do you feel is going to be the result, the impact of this trial? Because I from what I understand, I've heard that the judge has already said that 45 committed fraud. Just how much? Will it have any impact?
Well, not only did he say that, but remember, he also had to expand the gag order to Trump's attorneys because his attorneys were talking about the clerk. He said, leave my clerk alone. The clerk of the court has a right and the job of communicating with the judge to keep the judge on track, make sure the judge has all the information, the documents, and things that they need. They are trying to say that this person is doing something illegal, which they are not. Like Donald Trump tried to say, this person who happened to be snapped in a background of a photo of Chuck Schumer was Chuck Schumer's girlfriend. And Chuck Schumer, this is why I say we need to get rid of him, should have said, oh, that is slander. Okay, yes. I'm gonna sue you for that. But beyond that, I don't think that he's gonna get away with having to pay less than what Letitia James is asking for. And you know he's in a hard way because guess what? All the other cases are going on. They've had some judgments and things like that, and they've had motions and things like that. He showed up to the only ones that he was required to go to. Yes. Jack Smith has been back and forth to court with his lawyers about these different gag orders and things like that. And Trump's so upset about his First Amendment rights, but never showed up to the court for those. Right. He's shown up almost every day, except when his kids were testifying. He showed up almost every day to this one. Why? Because it hits at the very heart of
Yeah.
who he believes he is and the image he wants people to believe in him. And this is going to hurt him more than going to prison ever would. This is bothering him so much for the secret that we all know, but for people to actually have verified proof in court documents that he is not worth even a fourth of what he tells people he's worth.
No. But that's been his MO from day one. So, and everybody has coddled and supported him and on all of his corruption and all of his so-called numbers. You know, when it comes to paper, he wants to claim he has nothing. But when it comes to, you know, talking game and talking loud and saying nothing, he's always, this is worth this and this is worth that. Everything's inflated and nowhere near the numbers that he's inflating it to. He's got a lot going on right now. He's in a washing machine. Like literally, he's going through the cycle of all these things. And it's really interesting to watch him lose his temper because he doesn't have any control when it comes to the judicial system. Now, if it was Clarence Thomas, maybe. But these people are not playing with him. They're not playing with him, and they are doing their job.
They're very serious, and he's so unserious. And that is the proof in the pudding. And the other thing about this too is that if he sits there and says that, oh yeah, please throw me in jail, and he welcomes it, the thing that tells you he is scared and terrified of all this are his rallies, are these events where he's speaking. Because when he starts going on his rants, he used to deliver his rants flawlessly. Now he starts tripping up on words, stuttering, getting facts wrong. Left, right, left. I mean, yeah, he's all over the place because he is terrified.
Good. I say good.
But I want to ask, if he gets convicted in New York, do I not see him just appealing it to the Supreme Court?
This? I mean, it's a civil case. He can.
Oh, it's a civil.
I doubt they'll take it up.
Okay, it's a civil case, so he can't take it to the Supreme Court. I thought.
Well, no, he can't. He can't take it. Civil cases all go to the Supreme Court, but I doubt they'll take it up. Remember, the last case he tried to take to the Supreme Court was a civil case in the election fraud stuff, and they did not. They twice told him, no, we're not going to do this.
But in lieu of running for president, he'll say, I'm not convicted. I'm not appealing. I'm appealing. So he's still not a convicted. He's not been convicted.
Well, because this is civil, he's not convicted of anything, period. But the rest, he has to pay restitution. And that's the other thing I need people to know. He sits out here saying, oh, the Attorney General of New York is coming after me when New York is being rambled with crime. Let's be very clear. Do you know what the job of the Attorney General is of any state? The Attorney General does not prosecute criminal cases. They prosecute civil cases. That is their job.
That tells you just how much he knows about anything, government or judicial. He doesn't know anything. He came in not knowing and he's leaving not knowing. He's always going to be the stupid one who sits there and cries and screams in the corner. He's an idiot. He is the court idiot. That's what he is. You know, they used to have those little people running around the court. That's what he is. Because he always tries to throw smoke fog. That's what he does. And that's what his attorneys are doing. Come on, guys. They know what they're doing. They just doing more stall tactics to slow the process down. None of the stuff that they're throwing out there is serious. They're grasping at straws, and they know that they are.
Because guess what, Donald Trump? If she prosecuted criminal cases, that Stormy Daniels case would be in her. And it is not. And let's not forget, he's got that case coming up too in early 2024.
Yeah, he can't. He's also, great.
Let's not forget, Judge Chutkan. She is a bad one. Okay, she said February 9th. Jack Smith asked. She said, "Yeah, February 9th is a good time to start jury selection for this March case." But even beforehand, she is giving out all the questionnaires so they can slice down the jury pool before jury selection begins so that he can't drag it out.
That's right. Oh, I love her. And you know, I've done some reading on her, and she's really quite amazing. Her career is quite amazing, and she takes what she does serious, and she does not see this as a joke. And I think she's also extremely fair. There are things that I don't like. In one case, I was like, I wouldn't have gone that way, but she had reason to do what she needed to do. What is so sad? What is so sad to me is because of this idiot, you have these judges who now have to be federally protected because she can no longer run by herself anymore. She used to run every day, not a problem. Nobody was protecting her. But the minute she took on this case, she must be protected. And what kind of life are we putting them in prison for when it's not them that are the ones that are corrupt for just doing their job? I have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that he does not care. He does not care if his people go out and hurt anyone. What's going
No, he calls for it. Every time he calls for it.
What's gonna the sad thing that he needs to watch out for is when the tides turn. You get these people riled up enough and get them angry enough and murderous enough and evil enough and vindictive enough. What happens when their ire turns to you?
To you.
All right. So Regina says 45 is a doofus. So says, I think what she meant to say, so are his sons. And she goes, yes, she calls the sons thing 1 and thing 2.
She's right.
So the trials continue on. Let's go to our next conversation piece for this evening. And this happened a number of weeks ago, but we haven't had a chance to talk about that mass shooting.
It was just about 11 days ago.
It seems so much longer than that.
It seems so long ago.
It seems so much longer than that because we stopped talking about it.
That's right. Let's be clear. Let's put this out there first. This was our 36th mass shooting this year.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
And we've had more of these shootings than we've had days in the year.
Yeah.
I think they said it was like 356 at the time of the Maine shooting. And the thing that bothers me more than anything, like, first of all, Maine is just one state above. There's a state between us and Maine, that'd be Massachusetts. Had us actually scared. First of all, the reporting on this, some of these reporters, I just don't know how the guy said, yeah, he probably fled Maine. He's probably going to Connecticut next. I'm like, wait, what we got to do with this? There's a whole state.
Leave you out of it.
There's two. You're scaring us. Don't scare Connecticut. We had our mass shooting,
right?
But the fact that this was the first in Maine, they've never had anything like this, and it happened in a city where they might get 21 gun deaths, 21 homicides a year. In one day. They almost cleared that. One day.
And the representative for that state, who was always against, banning assault weapons, came
a Democrat.
Out and changed his stance and said he's sorry. Please forgive him. He will do absolutely everything he can possibly do and be open to every suggestion to never let this happen again. Now that's something, y'all. Now I know it was a Democrat, but still, when you're usually against stuff like this, you don't see that. That's unprecedented.
And the sadder part that comes out is that the shooter's son and ex-wife are like, yeah, we called the police. We called hospitals. We tried to tell people he's got guns. He's talking about harming people. And Maine has a red flag law. They basically have no gun legislation where you don't need to register a firearm in Maine to have one. You can just get one and it doesn't matter what kind it is. We have a assault rifle ban after Newtown. Okay, we had one for a while. It expired, and we have one now after Newtown. That's one of the reasons why a lot of the gun manufacturers of those weapons left our state. Where'd they go? They went to South Carolina, a place where
they welcome for open arms.
But Maine has a yellow flag law. Now, he couldn't buy a silencer because he had been hospitalized in July, which he admitted to on the application, but they could still sell him a gun.
Still gave it to him. But then he's also part of the Army National Guard. And even within the National Guard, they had concerns. They actually came out and said they were really concerned. So at what point, guys, is it we're really concerned to this man has killed many people? At what point do you step in and stop this? Because standing back and saying you're concerned and reporting and no one doing anything is still getting people killed. So we still have a lot to do, a lot of work to do on this. It's more than just background checks. This dude had them he had them legally. He had them legally, and he was a part of, of our armed forces. So of course he was going to be able to have weapons. So at what point do we say, no, there's something wrong, and immediately put someone on at least a year hold or probation until they go through mental help or therapy? I don't know what the answer is, but the answer is not what we're doing now.
Yeah. I've lived in 2 states that have had mass shootings.
Oh, God.
South Carolina and Connecticut. This is ridiculous that we are here. LaLa, you've lived in 2 states that have had mass shootings. Kentucky and Florida. Yep. This is ridiculous. It's over and over and over again. And do you know how rare it is for the shooter to be caught alive? And I'm sorry to say it this way. I don't know of any other way to say it. And like, if you were gonna kill yourself, you had to take all those people with you. Yeah. Why not just cut to the chase?
Yeah, don't be a punk out.
That's wrong.
That's coward.
That's cowardice. And if you're in that much pain, get help. But don't blame other people for your pain. And let's be very clear about mental illness. I have a graduate degree in clinical psychology, and one of the first things you learn is that mentally ill people are more a harm to themselves than they are to other people. They're more likely to harm themselves. This is mental illness combined with unadulterated evil.
Yeah.
Unadulterated evil.
He was hearing the voices. I mean, he was hearing voices in his head.
Yeah. Because I think about the Newtown shooter, and we know that he killed 20 kids and 6 school professionals. But the very first person he killed before he went to that school was his own mother while she slept. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself why. Because she probably would have been the person that would have stopped him.
That's right.
She's the one who bought him the gun in the first place. And he killed her. So it's like that. And there's something that we have to really also address in this country as a problem that you refuse to talk to. They'll point to the one black mass shooter in a sea of white male mass shooters and be like, oh, well, they're not all. No. What is going on with white male fragility at this point? Because there is a profile. The FBI has a profile on these mass shooters. And until you address what is really going on with white men, you're not going to stop this epidemic.
No,
period.
Not at all.
Stop acting like it doesn't exist. Yes, these are your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your nephews. Find out what their problem is. Because I'm sorry, but I'm not willing to die for your right to have a gun, or because your brother Joe Bob is unhappy.
Right.
then my family shouldn't have
And
to.
even in the Louisville shooting, the parents came out who were completely devastated over their son because they too were telling everybody something not right. He's not taking his meds. Y'all need to come get him some help. Because he was an adult, they couldn't have him committed. They didn't have it happen in time enough. So you have people like them who do report. A lot of the times they know something's off with their kid, but nothing's still being done. There's nothing wrong with regulation. When did regulation become a bad word? I mean, we still
when Republicans got a hold of everything, they are very. That is. And that's the problem. That's one of their political positions, is that they want to deregulate everything. And the first thing that they want to deregulate is gun ownership. And I'm sorry, but the First Amendment is the freedom of speech. Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. However, when you look at the Bill of Rights, the first thing on that Bill of Rights is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So why does the Second Amendment of the Constitution trump the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights?
Yeah, I agree.
Your right to having a firearm should not infringe upon my right to life.
No.
But that's where we are right now, where these mass shootings are concerned. And my heart breaks so bad for those people, because they were doing everything, they were just doing their normal stuff, eating at a bar,
living their life.
Bowling alley,
three of those people were killed because they could not hear what was going on. They were deaf.
Oh God, I did not know that.
There was an event for deaf people there at the bowling alley. They could not hear. They couldn't even hear the first shot, so they were sitting ducks. And it was disgusting. And I'm sorry, you know what? If you want more mass shootings, if you want to risk your child every time you have to drop them off at school, if you want every time you go to a mall to have to play the odds, then fine, keep voting for Republicans. But if you want your first in that Bill of Rights, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, start voting for Democrats, because they're the only party that is willing to put these restrictions on it. And I'm sorry, but the Second Amendment is not infallible. The Second Amendment should be revisited, because again, they wrote that when people were fighting with muskets.
Right. And not AK-47 and assault, right?
They couldn't even comprehend that there would be something as a machine gun. They didn't even think that this far beyond, because you know what they thought would be a big deal? Probably a motorized wheel.
Okay? Yeah. Don't forget, ain't even airplanes went around. So there you go.
So look, a motorized wheel that only one person had to crank. 500 years from then, okay? They didn't think that we'd have cars. They didn't even think we'd have an internet. What? I bet if you brought Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and Hancock and the rest of those who signed the Constitution into 2023, they'd be like, what did you all do?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to rewrite this thing, because there's too much stuff that needs to be regulated.
That's right.
And with all this, not mass shooting, nothing about gun control.
No. Nope. Wow. Wash, rinse, repeat. And we will be here again.
And make it worse, because Three Toes was out there talking about she's giving away, assault rifles.
Right.
And
they have no couth. Okay, that's the other thing too. They have no couth. It's very tacky that this happens, and your way of dealing with is like, oh, guess what? Your relative was killed by an assault rifle. I'm giving one away for the next mass shooter to commit. Right. You know what? You're giving that weapon you're going to give away to somebody who's just as crazy as that guy. And I'll say this because these MAGA folks are crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
But guess what? What happened in Maine? There'll be another one before the year ends.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. I hate to say it, but honestly, I
but
think
it's
more
true.
coming.
Because we're not going to do anything to change it. We have just resolved the fact that, yeah, we're just risking life. You leave your house, it's a roll of the dice. You can't even look. We learned from uh Miss Bradley that you can't even be in your bed sleep without somebody coming in to shoot you.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You can't be home and be safe. You can't be out and be safe.
You can't go to the grocery. You can't go to the mall. You can't go. California right now is experiencing so many smash and grabs and robberies in malls, and just even up and down Beverly Hills and Melrose. People are walking in with guns, walking up to people sitting at and eating their food, pointing their guns, saying put it all in the bag, and walking right back out. So this is no longer the inner city problem. This is everywhere.
You can't even go to a funeral because there have been mass shootings at funerals.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's crazy.
It's like all we can do is say, "Oh, this is life."
Wow. All right. Well, let's go to our final conversation piece. Aisha brought this up, that one of the 5 officers charged with the murder of Tyree Nichols pleads guilty.
Yeah, what is he going to do, right? He's on video. He's identified. The plea was probably better than going to court.
Yeah.
It's it's really sad, but we have, as much as we have a gun problem, we also have a policing problem in this country. Also, too, one of the things that I learned about recently was in Mississippi, a police officer hit a black man with his car and buried the body.
Yes.
So the family wouldn't, as if the family wouldn't notice their loved one was missing, but buried the body. If you weren't guilty of hitting that man on purpose, why would you bury him? Like police officers in Mississippi tried to do that with Emmett Till's body. They tried to do that. His mother stopped them. But the thing for me that makes me wonder,
he buried the body.
Yeah. Why would you take it?
That's not even it, Dr. Bob. Not only did he bury the body, there were other people in on it. They all knew it.
Yeah. Because see, here's the thing: if he had taken the man to the coroner would be able to tell how he was hit, the rate of speed, the impact, if it was an accident or intentional. And I think that was the thing. And remember, this was Mississippi. So we've got to get a hold on our police. Who's policing the police? That needs to be the question. Because
they become militarized. So to me, that's not even local government anymore. They got tanks, they got bombs, they got ramming batters. No. And then people get upset when you say defund the police. But you know what? There needs to be a massive reform for that, because you're putting all the kooks in there. You're letting all the kooks in there, and this is how they're running everything. No, and it's hard for me to trust anybody. You know, I got pulled over one time in LA and I had a headlight out, didn't know. You would have thought you would have probably had to take me to the hospital. My heart beat out of my chest so bad. I immediately put a recording device on just in case something should ever happen to me, and put it in my seat and hands on the steering wheel. You know, you don't have, you don't have to have a reason, especially with LA police, to have them pull you out of the car and beat you. They've been known to do that. So all of our police, the whole thing is all messed up. I mean, we talk about our government, but the cops are just as bad. And I'm not anti-blue, okay? So that's the thing. Right. Everybody wants to put you in a box. You know, if you're defund, then you're not for the cops. No. I'm not for that. I'm for good cops. I'm for people doing their job properly. I'm not for the coups, and I'm not for the people who are corrupt. Something has to change. Everything has to change in this country, not something. And that's sad.
So Fitness IQ Cam says that's crazy and disgusting. Some of the stuff you talk
Do
about
you
in regards
know?
to some
But
members
do
of
you
the
know?
law enforcement. Go
Yeah, but
ahead.
do you know what profession has the highest rate of domestic violence?
Yes, they do.
Police officers.
Yes, they do.
And one of the things that I've noticed is that you take some of these people who have had and currently have very little authority or anything in their own lives, their personal lives, and when they were younger as adults, and you give them a little bit of authority and a gun, and they think they run everything and they abuse it. The good ones are there because they want to do the job. They want to protect and serve. They want to take care of their community. The bad ones, they just couldn't join the army.
That's right. And
Well,
I have
there's
family
this.
members on the force who really care. And when anything like this happens, they're sick to their stomach because they know that because of the ones that are doing this, now all are being put in the same category when that's just not the case. But we have more bad than we have good, or do we just hear about it more? I don't know.
Interesting comment here by Fitness IQ Cam saying, I think all police officers need therapy.
And the therapy is optional at this point. I'm sorry, they only require it if they do, if it's an officer involved shooting, and they do it so that they can get their gun back. But here's the thing about therapy: having done therapy, having gone through therapy, and I know this, people who do repeated cycles of therapy, they know how to tell. They therapy shop first of all, so they see different therapists. They don't get to know one really well, but they know what to say to the therapist to get out of the course of therapy. Like, I'll tell you, there are people who are schizophrenics. You want to know why people who are like terribly schizophrenic end up getting out of institutions and things before they're ready? Because they know how to get out. They know what to do. They know what to say. They know what is expected of them. They know how to play the role of being sane for a little bit. Sometimes the most clinically insane people are the people walking around trying to look as sane as possible, like Donald Trump.
But I don't think any amount of therapy is going to help him.
Okay, well, I think on that note, I think we'll end this evening's conversation. I think that is a good note to end on. So, ladies, as always, I want to thank you for your time, the most valuable thing that you have on the premiere episode of Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and LaLa. Hope you loved it, family. More to come. And before we vacate the digital stage, we're going to get the contact information of both these ladies. So first, we're going to start off with LaLa, and she'll be coming up on the screen in just a moment. There we go.
You can find me everywhere at Realty Goddess. Come and talk to me. I like to talk social.
Yes, and she puts things up while we're live, which is quite impressive. So there you go. Next up, we've got Aisha K. Staggers.
You can find me on Discord. I'll be on Instagram sometimes. And for the most part, just find me on Discord because I'm trying to break the social
Fantastic.
media.
Are you enjoying the Discord?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the Discord. I just don't enjoy the rest of social media.
There you go. Well, that's why I put the Discord up. All right, good stuff. So we're back, and I'll just put myself up. Well, give the ladies a little bit of breaks. So for myself, this is how you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on the website, thedrvibeshow.com. Email dr@thedrvibeshow.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. No, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. X/Twitter @DRVIBESHOW. I'm very rarely on X or Twitter. And Instagram, it's at the drvibeshow.com, at the Dr. Vibe Show. So, a few other things you can watch. Replays of this on the website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, the Dr. Vibe Show, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And that's that. And also, if you go on Lala's Facebook page, it's there too. There you go, because she broadcasts it live on her page. So it's there too. So I'll make sure I get the deets of that. And whenever she puts it on, that'll be on the lower third there. So I want to thank everyone who caught the conversation live or on the replay, as always. And a few last things. Make sure you subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification button. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Please and thank you. Advertise your business, product, or service on the platform. Please do that. Touch base with me, dr period VIBE at the drvibeshow.com. And we push it again. Join the Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and LaLa Discord group. I have a feeling once I come off this, there's going to be more stuff on there than when we came on live. So that is fantastic. So as always, like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good. And we will catch you online and next week.